Those new questions about Bill Cosby's future. Judge is declaring a mistrial in his sexual assault case. Prosecutors are now calling for a retrial. We're going to hear from Bill Cosby's attorney live right here on GMA in a moment. But first, ABC's Lindsay Davis has the latest. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, David. Well, Cosby's lawyer says he's concerned about his client's health and the toll that this trial took on the soon-to-be 80-year-old. That is of little concern to the prosecutor, who is already focused on the next trial. Right after the mistrial announcement, he confidently told reporters the last time he retried a case after a mistrial was 1992, and he got a conviction.
This morning, Bill Cosby is a free man, raising his fist in victory after a judge declared a mistrial in his sexual assault trial Saturday, after a jury of 12 remained deadlocked after more than 50 hours of deliberations.
52 hours of having 12 perfect strangers deliberate on your fate has to be a strain the likes of which I can't even imagine.
Cosby's wife, Camille, released a statement saying, "I am grateful to any of the jurors who tenaciously fought to review the evidence, which is the rightful way to make a sound decision," adding some harsh words for the district attorney, calling him heinously and exploitively ambitious, and the judge overtly and arrogantly collaborating with the district attorney. After the decision, the district attorney immediately announced plans to retry the 79-year-old comedian.
We're going to retry the case. I said it in court. There was no pause or hesitation about that, and we're moving forward.
Moving forward means the prosecution will likely revisit their initial petition to have 13 of the more than 50 Cosby accusers testify in the retrial.
A big part of the case is trying to establish a pattern on the part of Bill Cosby. We'll see if those witnesses testify. They may significantly impact the outcome in a second trial.
As for jury selection, the media attention surrounding Cosby's case is likely to be complicated. For this first trial, Cosby's lawyers requested that jury selection be moved 300 miles across the state of Pennsylvania, hoping to find unbiased jurors.
While the judge has said he would like the retrial to begin within 120 days, the prosecutor has said that legally they have 365 days to retry Cosby, but he hopes to do it as soon as possible. David.
Lindsay Davis, I know you've been on the case from the start. We appreciate your reporting. Brian McMonagle, the criminal defense attorney for Bill Cosby in the case, joins us now live in a morning exclusive. Brian, great to have you with us. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, David.
I want to start with Camille's words over the weekend, Bill Cosby's wife. You heard Lindsay report there that she took on the DA, calling him heinously and exploitively ambitious, the judge calling him overtly and arrogantly collaborating with the DA. Are you at all concerned that those words from Camille Cosby could affect a retrial, since you're going to be dealing with the same judge?
The judge who presided over our case did a remarkable job balancing the needs of Mr. Cosby and the prosecution, and more importantly, the hardworking jurors that came 300 miles to hear our case. As we sometimes see, the people that are most affected by these cases, the families, don't have a great appreciation for our roles and what we do. I know that we were personally vilified during the trial, and I think when you're looking at Mrs. Cosby, you're looking at a wife who believes that the system is unfairly treating her husband and victimizing her husband. I've seen this before, I've seen it again, and I don't believe it'll have any effect on our trial.
Brian, you heard the DA say we're going to retry this case. There was no hesitation there. Are you at all concerned that they'll try again with their original hope to have 13 of the accusers testify before the jury?
You know, I think the judge took a great deal of time, critically analyzed the law, and came to an inescapable conclusion here that the law doesn't permit it. It doesn't permit unproven old accusations to be used in a trial. The problem here is that that's the very reason that we're here. The parties walked away from this case 14 years ago and resolved the matter. We're only here because of those unproven accusations, and I believe and I know in my heart that the judge will not reverse his decision, will give us a fair trial as he just did.
Brian, you said Mr. Cosby began this trial presumed innocent, and he leaves that way, adding there were no winners here. I'm curious, there were many accusers who came forward over the last year or two. And many Americans know Bill Cosby from The Cosby Show, considered America's dad at the time. What would you say to Americans who looked and heard these stories, and some who believe that he could be guilty here? How do they reconcile the two Cosbys that they've come to know?
Well, what I would say to them is simply this: trust the system. Right now there's one accusation in a court of law, and we've just had a trial. None of these accusations have ever been vetted. None of them have ever been put to the test. None of them have ever been cross-examined. And the one time that it has happened, fair-minded people couldn't come to a conclusion. So I would say to them, presume innocence and trust the system.
And Brian, what would you say to all those women who came forward?
What I would say to all of Mr. Cosby's fans and some of the folks on the other side of this, we have a wonderful criminal justice system in this country. Trust it, believe in it, and I'm confident that if this case is retried, he'll be acquitted. You
said the judge, you heard that he asked the retrial in 120 days. Are you ready, and will you defend Bill Cosby again in court if there is a retrial?
If Mr. Cosby asks, then I will answer the call. But we're all just trying to get a little rest, recover. It was an agonizing process. Jury deliberations were 52 hours, so we're all trying to mend and heal, and then we'll make some important decisions in the days to come.
52 hours, as you mentioned, Brian. Those jurors certainly put in the time to deliberate the case. Brian McMonagle, defense attorney for Bill Cosby. Brian, we do appreciate your time here this morning. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.